All right, kids, strap on those safety belts, start up your Studebaker, and hold on. It's time for the Ray Carr Show. You'll hear all your favorite songs that you've never heard before, plus the news, weather, sports, interviews, and more, right here on WCSB Cleveland, 89.3 FM, and streaming online at raycarram.com. And now, it's time for the man, the myth, the living legend, Ray Carr.
We have a guy on the line right now that's been searching high and low. He's been searching for everything. Joel the Muffler Man is back. Joel, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How are you doing this morning, Ray?
Good. You've been searching everywhere, and you found Muffler Men. More of them.
Yeah. We actually just got back from a West Coast road trip, which was a lot of fun. Tell me about that. I mentioned it a few weeks ago when I was talking to you that we were going to go on it, and finally became a reality. We flew out to Phoenix, Arizona, and our first rented a car, and our first stop was in, I think they pronounce it Prescott, Arizona. That was to see a cowboy that stands at a game store. And, the neat thing about these cowboy versions of Muffler Men is most of them are retired Phillips 66 cowboys.
Right, from the gas station, yeah.
That's right. They stood at gas stations, and they've all been kind of retransformed to meet the theme of whatever business they now stand in front of. This guy was unique. He stood in front of a gaming store, and he held these playing cards for the game Magic the Gathering. And I've never seen anything like that before. That was unique. They'd custom-made these giant cards for him to hold in his hand.
Well, that is unique,
yeah, we were able to get the cameras out and rolling there and got some great footage of him on a beautiful day there in Prescott. Locals were, a few of them stopped to see what we were doing, so it gave us a chance to tell them about our website. From there, we headed up to Flagstaff. The neat thing about going on these road trips and searching for Muffler Men, and anyone can do this, is that it just takes you to places you'd normally never go. I would probably never go to Prescott in my life. And from there, we drove up through Sedona, Arizona, and then some back roads up to Flagstaff. And, that's just one of the neat things about searching for Muffler Men. You just find yourself in these interesting places and talking to people you never normally would meet. And from there, we stopped in Flagstaff. And that was one of the highlights of the trip, really, because Flagstaff is where two Muffler Men stand that were really one of the first one ever made, as far as we know. And he was made by Bob Pruitt long before, or a few years before International Fiberglass came along. And Bob Pruitt in California there made the first Muffler Man, and it ended up at the Lumberjack Cafe in Flagstaff. And it was after that time that he sold his molds to International Fiberglass.
Yeah.
So
what year was that again? I mean, the first Muffler Man?
I'm guessing it was around 1961 or so that he actually had that mold made, or made it himself, and took it up to the Lumberjack Cafe on Route 66 there. And it stood there for a number of years until the place changed its name to Granny's Closet. It was sold to a new owner. And right before they did that, though, they had ordered a second Muffler Man. And by the time they got around to ordering that second Muffler Man, he was ordered from International Fiberglass. And so we were able to go to the university where they now stand, and Northern Arizona University.
Home of the Lumberjacks.
The one that was the first one ever made is standing outside today. And then the second one they ordered is inside the dome. And that was kind of a neat experience. We found the door propped open, and so we were trying to, look around to see if we could get permission to go in and see it. And there was just nobody in this huge, football arena. It's all indoors. It's enclosed. And so we're looking around. We said, well, we might as well go as far as we can until someone tells us otherwise. And so we made our way all the way down, through the seats there and onto the floor. And right down in the end zone is this second Muffler Man. And it has an International Fiberglass stamp on its leg, so we know it was ordered later. But that was kind of a fun adventure to discover those two.
How many Muffler Men are we up to now?
I think at the end of this trip, I was writing down a number like 135 or something like that.
Wow.
So it's climbing. I never thought I'd get this far. I remember when I hit 50, I thought it was crazy.
But now you're up to 135.
Yeah, and I'm guessing I'll start really slowing down at around 180 is where, that's the most I pretty much know about. But we'll see how far we get.
And recently you were up in Cleveland.
Oh.
That's right. I was up in your neck of the woods last weekend. Didn't have too much time. But I did sneak out on my way out of town. I stopped by Marblehead, and I was able to get a couple great shots of not a Muffler Man, but another giant you guys have out there next to a gas station near Marblehead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Amazing stuff of how many Muffler Men and related items there really are that maybe just, pass by. We don't even realize that. Yeah,
we really don't. A lot of people don't realize what they have. One of our stops was in Pahrump, Nevada, and it is the location of one of the very few Texaco Big Friends that are left. There's like 4 of these guys left. And I saw him in 2011. Last year, they took him down, and they really didn't know what they had. And so he was carted off to the dump because the business he stood out at went out of business. But so many people started calling the dump, inquiring on him. They decided not to scrap him, even though they had done a pretty bang-up job of taking him down. But that was one of our stops. We were able to find him at the museum there in Pahrump because the dump had donated him to the museum after all this went down. And they told us where he was being stored. And that was, I think, the highlight of the trip for me was to actually go out and find one of these Texaco Big Friends, laying in this back lot in pieces.
Wow.
But, at least he's there.
Sure,
and,
he's there.
Museum. Yeah, the museum's hoping to get him restored. It's going to take a lot of money and help from the local community, but hopefully they can get that done because he's one of the very few.
I think you'll have people just jump in to help because the Muffler Men have become icons in America. You've brought that to the forefront. What is your website, Joel?
Yeah, my website is usagiants.com.
Okay, now what about a book?
Yeah, it all comes down to time for me.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a full-time job, so
you're pretty strapped.
These are a hobby, but it's definitely something that I want to do. I think it's something a lot of people would find interesting. I do have an Instagram account, and that is something I'm able to update daily, and I've just been getting more and more followers on that, and that's gone really well. So if that's any indication of how people would enjoy a book, it's good.
Oh, I think with these pictures and you're traveling around America, people would find it absolutely fascinating. I think that would be a must read, and a must. It'd be I could see it being a big book, a big coffee table book.
Right.
And you could be standing in front of all these guys, and really, it's Americana at its very best.
Yeah, absolutely. We were able to stop in Hayward, California, and see Bruce Kennedy is a collector. He's got 4 Muffler Men out there, and that was pretty much our last stop on our road trip. And that was a big check mark for me to go see those guys. And he's just, started collecting Muffler Men like crazy. And he's the owner of Bell Plastics there in Hayward. He started out with Big Mike, who was the local mascot that he purchased, and then he just kept going. He bought the Muffler Man that used to stand in Boonville, Missouri, and then one from Paramount, California, also a Bunyan. And he just recently purchased one of the Halfwits, the Alfred Newman versions, from Flint, Michigan, and trucked him all the way out there. And when we went there to film these guys, he had them all lined up in a row, and that's a sight to see. 4 big Muffler Men all lined up in a row. So we just had a fantastic time talking to him. He actually helped us, sponsor our trip out there. So big thank you to Bruce Kennedy, and wrapping up a great end to the trip.
Well, Joel, thank you, and I hope you call us back when you acquired more. You're up to 135, so hopefully we can, talk to you when you get 150 and 180, and who knows beyond that.
Yeah, no problem. Be happy to call back anytime. Thanks, Ray, for having me.
Joel, you're great. Thank you, and best of luck to you, sir.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.